Hi guys, it's Amy, and you found Amy Loves Crochet. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I do really appreciate your time. Welcome. Well, I just like to talk about crochet here with my friends and laugh a little bit, so I hope you come along next time as well. Uh, as you can see by the thumbnail, I found this little place called Seven Sisters Yarn and Fiber, and it was a by accident find, so that makes it all the more thrilling. My husband and I were out running errands, and I was actually looking down at my phone at the map. We were trying to find a place, and he said, Seven Sisters Yarn, what is that? And I got whiplash swinging my head around, and at the very last minute I saw the white yarn sign that you see just as you go into the driveway there, and my heart skipped a beat. I have heard and seen trips, where people have found these great little shops, or maybe you know of it, so you go there in your town where there's all this hand-dyed beautiful hanks of yarn, and I was so excited I can't even put it into words. Like, it's been a couple of weeks and I'm still so excited that I found this place. So we go run our errands and we come right back, and we go inside, and there's a gentleman behind the counter who's the owner, and I introduced myself just as somebody who was new, finding the shop for the first time and so forth. And we chatted a bit, and I said, I need to hug you. And I did this in the air, and he did this in the air back to me. It was kind of funny. It was a little bit silly, but hey, if you dream of finding one of these little shops, and then you do find the shop by mistake, it was just amazing. So anyway, I waited a week or so until I could go back by myself, because I knew that my husband wasn't going to sit in the parking lot for very much longer. I just needed to see what it was and prepare myself, so when I went back in, I knew what I was in for. So he said they had just been there about 7 months, so that's super, super exciting. And I can't wait to see what they have going on, because so in the front room there where all the yarn is shown, I've been putting these pictures up so you can see all along, and they've got like this little side room, and there's like a kitchen table in there, and they have open knit night, and they have classes, and they have exactly what I dreamed of ever finding, or even starting on my own with my little crochet club here in town. And it's pretty far for me to go, but what they have going on, in addition to the store part, but that knitting group, that people that come together with their stuff, maybe even just to get out of the house and knit together with other people, or crochet or whatever, that is so exciting to me. That's what I wanted to find. So good for them. I'm super excited for them. He was really, really nice. We talked a little bit about my cabinets. And so maybe he's going to build something similar. I don't know. So anyway, I wanted to share with you. So I came home, and my husband says, oh, did you get any yarn? Because he's used to me bringing in giant bags from, Joann's or Hobby Lobby or whatever. This nice little unassuming bag is what I had carried in the house. And he says, didn't you get any yarn? I said, oh, I got some yarn. So it was kind of, I wasn't sure where to start to show you what I got. I guess I will have to start with this one, because it's the first one that I saw, and I fell in love. I could not put it down. I could not stop looking at it. I picked up other colorways of this, other skein or hanks of this colorway. Just the way that this one is wrapped, and the colors that are coming out, I just absolutely lost my mind. So it's called Leading Men Fiber Arts, and they are also here very, very local, just into Illinois a little bit, in Clinton, Illinois. And so I love that it's a local shop, and it's a local yarn guy, like these big corporate companies, blah, blah, blah. I love to support the little guys. So it reminded me of when I was growing up, and we would go into like Woolworths, and if we were good, if we had behaved, Mom and Dad would let us pick whatever bulk candy we wanted, and we could get a quarter pound, maybe half pound, whatever. And that was like our level of candy buying. And then we would be in the mall and see, it used to be a specialty store when I was growing up, or so I thought, but they've branched out quite a bit since then, called C's Candies. And I remember I thought it was very local to us because my dad used to box up a bunch of their lollipops and other candies and ship them to his cousin up in New York, because they didn't have the C's candy shops there. So C's was like the next level. Like if we had done something really special, or we could go in and buy one tissue cup that had like 2 pieces of candy in it. That was like a big special thing. You know, we would splurge on that. And then there was walking past the Nordstrom store that had the candy spot out in front. And we knew, you know, $10 for a tiny little piece of candy or whatever. That was way out of our range. So in this case, it didn't feel snooty at all. It felt like I was getting that little tissue of 2 specialty kind of candies that I could only get there. And, you know, for those that crochet in bulk, like maybe I do, I need to find clearance yarn. I need to find cheapo. I need to find Red Heart Super Saver, things like that. But once in a while, you know you're paying top dollar for something and you love every stinking penny of it. And I don't even care, right? So some of the pictures, you might even see what my choices were. Like I had laid them out along the table as I was deciding which ones to get and which ones to put back and how to control myself. And I want to say, I did ask, so the second time when I went back to actually buy the yarn, there was an employee behind the counter, and not the owner that I thought I was going to see again. And this employee and I, her name was Kate, I do believe, we talked the entire time I was in there. She was knitting. She had beautiful classical music going on. She answered the phone at one part, and that's when I was going to be doing my video. I asked her if I could, and she said yes. And so I kind of videoed around the store, and she didn't want to be in it. And so I kind of wasn't really paying attention to my video because I was listening to her conversation on the telephone. So I had to kind of break out the video because I thought I would do a voiceover of the video, and I'm not there yet. I might crochet, but I do not do technical. And so I've still got to figure out how to do some video editing to do a voiceover. Haven't done that yet. It was great to hear her on the phone with somebody who didn't know what Ravelry was. And so she had to explain how, you know, patterns aren't really, you don't really find a lot of pattern books anymore. I can't remember how the conversation started, but she had to explain to her how to get into Ravelry and how you find so many patterns there. And what was the other one? It was a Knit Companion. I don't remember if that was actually the name, but there was another place to store all your patterns and all your projects that you've done. That's a little bit too technological for me. I still have paper all over the house, so sorry about that. At least I recycle. I write on the back of other stuff. So, okay, so that was the first one that I decided on. The next one that I actually decided on, okay, so let's talk about this. This is 328 yards of 100% superwash merino. It is a machine wash, but a dry flat. And again, I just could not put it down. It's so pretty. Okay. So then, and so this one was a little bit on the higher price side. So I thought, let's look at these other ones that are a little bit less price. And it is Malabrigo, which I have heard Crystal use that name, that word all the time. And I'm not sure if it's a type of yarn or where it comes from or the way the color bleeds. I don't know. But this one is called Arco Iris. It is 210 yards of worsted weight and also 100% superwash merino wool. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. This is another one that I had multiple skeins of the same colorway laid out on the table and actually even picked from there. So these are both going to be just wall hangings. These are not going to be used for anything. I don't have anything in mind for it. The next one that I was looking at, I continued to look at because of these. I don't know how to do that. No, this way. These, the orange and, okay, I'm such a dork. This one, it's not orange, it's yellow, and this one's kind of like a lime that I got from, they look very similar here. Oh, they look very similar to the eye as well, but this one is much more green. This one is called lime, and this one is called lemon. Really. So these were part of my Hobby Lobby clearance from last summer, and just kind of sitting up there because I've got a pink and a blue as well, and I just didn't know if they'd all go together, or it was kind of one of those purchases that was what was left and I wanted to be in on it, so I just used them or bought them and knew I would find a way to use them. So what I could not put down was the two of these together. See how nicely those colorways go? So this one is also Leading Men Fiber Arts, and it is called That's Somewhere. There's 218 yards of superwash merino. Gorgeous. And then I thought that this one went with it so well. This one is called Love Me Tender. 218 yards, the same? Yeah, the same. So that goes definitely well together. And then I don't know if both of these would go with it. I want to say yes. Put that all together. Like, or they might just all hang on the wall together forever. But, you know, so like when I'm buying, I am putting some thought to what I'm doing. So these that maybe didn't have a home before might have a home now. Look at how pretty. I really like that. I don't know what that's going to be. That's going to be something. Okay. And then the next one I found, I don't know that I'm ever going to use it, but I did have to have it. Do you understand me? Have to have it. They had an orange one that was kind of like a tangerine, I guess. She said that this was called barber pole, these stripings like this. So it sort of reminded me of the fruit ones that are out. What are all those watermelon ones that like Cinnamon Stitches works with? She's done a lot of the different fruit ones, the bananas and stuff, but I just lost my freaking mind when I saw this one. So even though I think it's kind of watermelonish, it is called Roses. It's made by a company called Four Crows Fibers. It says black and white and dyed all over. And then it says Roses, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. It's a fingering weight, and it is 400 yards. Just absolutely gorgeous. So I'll enjoy having that on the wall until I find something that I want to make with it, if I'm going to do that. Otherwise, it'll stay on the wall forever. Okay, and then the last one, you know, I'm telling you folks, I spent probably close to an hour and a half plus there, walking around the store, talking with this woman. It was a wonderful span of time for me. I was in my little bubble of heaven. One of the things that I had noticed when I first went in and was speaking to the owner the first time, I think his name was Bill, some of this I had purchased on clearance some time back, and it was like $13 a hank or something. I can't remember, but they knit one, plant one. Earth Yarns plants a tree in Africa for each skein sold. So they partnership with Trees for the Future. When people learn how to get back to the land gives back to them. So amen to that, right? So I had picked 3 colors when I purchased this online months ago, whenever, a year ago, whatever. And the sale went through, and then the next morning I got an email that said, sorry, we were out of this color and here's your money back. And so I was really, really disappointed because I had wanted all 3 that I had found. And so they had a bunch in Seven Sisters, they had a bunch of this. And I thought, how interesting. I did actually find the skein that I was refused that time, or, you know, refunded for, I should say. But I was buying so much other stuff that I thought, you know, I do have 2 skeins of this, not this color, I have a different color as well. So let's go ahead and get a different yarn. And again, I really wanted to branch out and buy things that I had not bought before. So at the very last minute, I did find also from Unique some mercerized cotton. So this is a DK weight. Look how beautiful is that? Are you even kidding me? I'm in love with it, like all over again, seeing it. I haven't looked at it in the bag since I bought it. I was waiting to do, like, I kind of wanted to do a fresh unboxing feel with you. This is bleeping gorgeous, if you don't mind me saying so, right? So this is DK weight, and it's 275 yards. And I did have two. I dug and dug and dug and found the only two. See, this guy's kind of a little bit sad. He's still twisted up, but a little bit, not as nicely as this one. But, you know, I never knew what mercerized meant. All this time I've seen the words thrown around, and I know that cotton is used for absorbency in the kitchen for cotton, you know, washcloths and things like that. But I didn't understand, which Kate explained to me, that mercerized means do not absorb. So these are, you know, you can make wearables that aren't going to suck up your sweat and then end up stinking or whatever, you know. So I look forward to using this in some sort of a tank top or a summer top. I don't know if I will mix it with anything else, if I'll find anything else to put with it, but these were a little bit less expensive, so I didn't mind buying two of them. And again, I would have bought more if they had a third one, I think, just to be sure that I had enough to make a top. I haven't looked at yardage to see what I can, you know, what type of top or what style of top I can come up with. But there you go, folks. And so, yeah, I spent quite a bit there. And so what I had to do to kind of calm the nerves a little bit when I got home, I counted up all of the hanks that I have, all of the hanks that I have ever bought, and divided it all so I would have an average, because some of them I got for $3.74, and they're worth more than that, right? So when I averaged all of the hanks I have ever bought, it's an average of $10.46. So I think that what I've got here, you know, that just made me feel better anyway. I know that I've got some high-end stuff here, and I've got some pretty, you know, middle of the road, average, very nice stuff that didn't cost me too much. So when you put it all together. So yeah, I mean, I can't say how much I want to be them when I grow up. Having that little knit together group is something that, you know, in my heart of hearts, if I had every resource that I ever needed, that's the type of place that I would end up with. So yeah, so, you know, I was very much in my element. I did not want to leave. I could have spent much longer there, touching, feeling, talking about it with Kate. It was wonderful. So I definitely see more trips in my future. I don't know if I would buy as much as I did this time. And when I initially went, I saw those little $7, those little mini hanks, and they were $7, or they had some groupings, like some color groups together that was just gorgeous. Or then they had these little canisters. I don't know if I got it in any of the pictures, but it was a little canister, like a little novelty thing, and there was some little tiny ones and a whole bunch of little hanks in there, and they're cute, the little braids. But immediately when I started saying how cute they were, Kate says they're a pain in the patootie to put, you know, you've got to swift them out or whatever, and they're small, so that you've got, you know, this much yarn to get together, whereas when you've got one of these, it's quite a bit, so you're working on that one for a while. So anyway, so after I left Seven Sisters and I was just on cloud nine, I had to go and check out this other store that was high end. I was on a high, big time. You know, it was like I had just spent a bunch of money on some high end stuff, and I wanted to keep going with that. Like, if in for a penny, in for a pound, right? So my next stop that I was going to go to, because I have to kind of plan out things that I'm going to do by myself without my husband, because I can stand there and look at it for an hour before I decide, and he's not bugging me. So I went into a little patisserie, a little French bakery shop, whatever they're called, and to buy a macaron for the first time. And the gentleman was so very nice. There wasn't anybody else in the store, so I asked some questions, probably a lot of them pretty stupid. But so he handed me a macaron to taste for the first time while we talked about it, and it was to die for. I wanted to crumple into a little ball of nothing on the floor with my macaron. And he explained to me how to say macaron the correct way. It's like alone, macaron. I said, leave me alone with my macarons, because I have a new obsession. So the one that he gave me was a Madagascar vanilla, and it was delicious. I could not have imagined it tasting this good. So I went ahead and bought a dozen and picked one of those, and tried to find ones that my husband might like as well. But he wasn't as into them. After about a bite of a third different flavor, he was like, just eat them all. I don't want them. So I wasn't loving any of them quite as much as I did in the store. And I thought, maybe my refrigerator's too cold. Maybe it's just, maybe it was in the moment or whatever. And I had bought a vanilla one for him to try. And so when he told me that he wasn't going to have any more and I ate the vanilla one, I again about died. So this new place, this place is going to be a new splurge for me for sure. Forget the Starbucks, forget the ice cream places or whatever. If I'm going to go treat myself, I'm going to go get macaron from this place and now everywhere when we go run errands into St. Louis, my husband's like, don't ask me to stop at another macaron place. Like, I keep mapping them out. I keep wanting to stop at another one and try a different one. But I just know that that's going to be my go-to. So, all right, that's all my video today, guys. I hope you have a wonderfully blessed day. Please come back and see me again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.